Hello there, I'm Una. You're very welcome to my channel. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge where the inspiration for today's video came from. A crafter called Laura Bassen. You probably know her. I heard her, she spoke to my heart. She said, Una, be as nerdy as you like about geometric patterns. This is what I came up with. I hope you like it and that you might try it too. From my drawer, I got all these scraps, reds and yellows and blues and greens and purples. I'll have to work on the purples later. And may I introduce you to my latest acquisition, a mini die-cutting machine. Came in on special offer this week to my local Aldi store, and when I figured out the plates, I started using it, and I'm so thrilled. The square dies I'm using in today's project I had in my stash. The one on the right is from a set of squares, and the one on the left from a baby set. It was a building block. And I cut out and assembled all these pieces here. This was a test run. I'm going to show you how I did them now with the red set. So lining up the big die and the small die on my plate for the mini die cutting machine, with which, did I tell you, I'm absolutely thrilled. I cut out the pieces and I cut a big square with a stitched edge, and the small piece cuts two bits, a frame and a centerpiece. And I do that with all three matching pieces for the red set. Now I have a pattern going here. I'm copying what I did on the orange pieces, and for example the large red piece there has a medium frame in the center and a light pink center, and like I say, I'm going to copy this pattern for them all. Now assembling them is very important. What I'm doing is I'm in diamond formation. I'm arranging the points so that they all line up with each other. And then when I take it to my guillotine and cut it out, it's really important that I also align those points on the cutting edge of my guillotine. And when I do that right on the edge, I am able to slice the square in two, because today I'm working with halves to create my patterns. And I just play around with the pieces here to make sure that it's going to work. I have a plan in mind, and I can see that it's already beginning to shape up just like I imagined. And so I work on the green and blue pieces as well. And I'm just speeding through this because it's exactly the same as I showed you with the red. And for the purples, I took out my swatch cards and selected some inks because I wanted to create my own paper to decide what I was going to use in the end. And to create my own paper, I use Neenah 110-pound card, and I go straight to paper with the ink pads. This is very easy to do and is a great way to produce colours that you don't already have in your cardstock. And I dry it off, but I didn't dry it enough, and I'll show you how I dealt with that later. I just put down the dies to make sure I coloured enough paper. And I finish with the sweet plum. And this is what I had to do when I ran them through my die cutting machine. The paper was still damp and I got a sort of a crease. And so I completely sorted that out by rubbing with my bone folder. I used the milled lavender and the sweet plum pieces for the purple shades, but I had to create this light violet piece with my Spectrum Noir marker to get the perfect match that I required. Now I'm speeding through the assembly of these because you've seen it with the red one. I loved this. You know, somebody else might think this is absolutely daft, but I enjoyed this process so much. I just found it so much fun, very therapeutic. I slice them all in half and assemble them all on my card, following the pattern of the reds and oranges. And I set it aside to get my sentiments ready, and I'm using a Hugs die by Avery L, a two-piece set, very, very nice. And the XCut alphabet die, there I store the pieces in this storage box. Now, to assemble the letters, I'm using a glue pen. I couldn't find my glue bottle on my desk, so I pulled out this glue pen that was a recent purchase, and I'm really liking it. I think I'll be using it again. Now, this is the really important part. To start assembling my panel, I took a white piece of cardstock, and on the right angle, down in the bottom left corner, I put the first piece absolutely flush with the edges of the white panel. And when I had that perfectly in place, the others then just fell into place, really. And I'm speeding this up, and I will slow it down again because I want to show you a problem that I encountered. My large die must have been slightly off. Now I'm talking about less than a millimetre. But when 3 of my square panels were adhered down together in a row, and I must have had the narrow configuration, all 3 of them put down together, the row ended up being slightly less than a millimetre narrower than all the others. And so I had to make an adjustment to make sure that that wouldn't be seen. And you'll see now what I mean. To be flush with the blue and purple, I had to put the green slightly apart from the one beside it. But I decided the hugs word could cover that up, and it wasn't going to be a problem. And you'll see now that the red row happened to fall exactly the same way. I must have had the narrow configuration of that square, the one that was slightly out. It mustn't have been a perfect square, and it ended up being just shy of a millimetre narrower than the other rows. And when I'm cutting it out with my steel ruler and craft knife, I have to take a sliver off all the other squares. Now, it made no difference. I don't think anybody would notice. And I think it's a riot of colour. I just love this piece. I'm arranging my sentiments as I want them, and I need the word sending, so I get it from the Sugar Pea Designs set, Everyday Sentiments. I heat emboss it and then cut it out with my scissors. Now I'm gluing the panel really well. I'm being careful with the corners. I don't want anything lifting up. And I took quite a while to eyeball this and make absolutely sure it was going to be where I wanted it to be, and pop on some blocks to let it dry. Then I adhere down the word hugs, hiding the boo-boo with the G, and then adhere the big. I love these letters. And being popped up, they add a lovely touch to the card, and I find a sweet spot for the sending. Press it down, and I'm done. Really pleased with that. I hope you like it too. I'm planning some more videos. You wouldn't believe how much cardstock I have all over my desk at the moment. I hope you'll come back for those videos. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. There are some videos showing on screen now that you might like to watch. If you'd like this video, I would be really thrilled. That's important for the success of my channel. And if you'd like to leave me a comment down below, I'd love to talk to you. All the best for now. Bye. Take care.